Disturbing secrets in kids' movies. In the movie Coraline, in this scene, the character Mr. Babinski is seen wearing a strange badge. Take a closer look right there. That exact badge was actually worn by Chernobyl liquidators. Their job was to get rid of as much radioactive debris as they possibly could. They wore gas masks 24/7, and many of them died due to radiation. And the reason Mr. Babinski has blue skin is because of that radiation. Foods that don't exist anymore that we all miss. Now, who remembers Trix yogurt? This was one of my favorite snacks, and I miss it so much. If you don't know what this is or you've never had it, I feel bad for you. Next up are these wax bottles that were so good on the inside. These were so tasty. I don't know why they discontinued them. Now, who remembers the lime flavor of Skittles? They changed it to green apple, and I have no idea why. I liked lime way better, but comment what you think. Here are 5 things you need to see before you die. First off is this Siberian bear hunting suit. It was used hundreds of years ago to hunt down bears, and if it attacked you, you'd probably be fine. Next, this is how much pollen is actually in a tree. No wonder everyone sneezes so much. Now, we all know Shaquille O'Neal is huge, right? I mean, look how big he is compared to this can. But he is literally nothing compared to the tallest man that ever lived. This is Albert Einstein's desk the day he died. Since then, no one has quite figured out what he was working on. And this is what an empty Walmart actually looks like. But why is it so creepy? The strangest fact about each zodiac sign. It is scientifically proven that if you're a Gemini, you're good at lying. So next time you're around one, don't believe a word they say. Up next, if you're a Taurus, you're most likely to be a stalker or a serial killer. The worst part is you'll never know they're doing this. Scorpio is weird. They're the ones who have the most dark and horrific thoughts. I'm confused. What do you guys think about? But if that wasn't bad enough, Cancers are proven to be the most deadly. They get arrested 2 times the national average, and their crimes are unspeakable. And if you're a Leo, forgive me, because you're statistically the worst driver. But if you're an Aries, you're most likely to be obsessed with death. Now comment what you are. Here are 5 animals that can kill themselves. Sometimes the horns of rams and goats grow so big and curved that it penetrates their skull and they die. Horses and donkeys can suffer from abnormal growth in their hooves. If their hooves aren't trimmed, they can no longer walk due to the pain and they'll die of starvation. When turtles fall on their back, it's really hard for them to turn back over. When that happens, they usually die from starvation or another animal eats them. During mating season, deers get into such violent fights with each other, their antlers get stuck together to the point where they can't get untied. When this happens, the deer die because they're unable to eat. Finally, the deer pig is famous for its 2 massive tusks. The growth becomes so uncontrollable that it pierces through their upper jaw, and in some cases pierces their skull, killing them. This woman is known as the African Kim Kardashian, and you will seriously not believe who her boyfriend is. Eudoxie claims she's all natural and has never done a cosmetic surgery. She posts tons of bikini photos on Instagram and has gained over 1 million followers just from doing that. Her role model is Kim Kardashian, and she hopes one day she can be as successful as her. She says a lot of men dream of seeing her, and when they finally meet her, they can't control themselves. But she ditched all those men and decided to make this guy, Grand P, her boyfriend. These conjoined brothers who are attached at the hip do not want to be separated. Shivanath and Shimram Sahum are conjoined twins from India who are attached at the waist. The 2 share 2 legs and 4 arms, but have separate hearts and brains, and despite sharing a body, they actually live a pretty normal life. They're able to shower, eat, and dress themselves, and they even found a way to bike to school. However, life is about to get much more complicated for the twins. Doctors say they most likely can't separate the twins, and if they did, the weaker one, Shivanath, would most likely die. Shivrat, the stronger one, would probably retain both legs and live a normal life. But the twins say even if they could afford surgery, they would never do it, because any challenge they face in life, they want to face together. This haunted house will pay you $20,000 if you complete it. The only problem is no one's ever done it. Located in Tennessee, McCamey Manor may look normal on the outside, but on the inside is a completely different story. It takes 8 hours to complete the entire thing, but not one person has ever made it past 6. This is because all the participants are literally tortured inside the house. You will be tied down, waterboarded to the brink of death, bit by venomous snakes, and literally so much more I can't even say on here. Even though people have literally died inside the house, everything going on is completely legal. All the participants must sign a 40-page waiver, pretty much signing their life away, so they can't get sued. It's pretty much 3,000 of people try it every single year, and they are forced to film every part of it. Just search up McCamey Manor on YouTube, but don't say I didn't warn you. Here's what would happen if Kim Jong-un died right now. First off, nobody would even hear about it for weeks or even months because the government would keep it a secret. But when North Koreans find out about it, Kim will become a god. You see, after a leader dies in North Korea, they still worship that person and their beliefs as if they were still alive. Now, the only problem is Kim Jong-un doesn't actually have a son to take over the throne. With no one alive to worship, Kim will become their permanent leader. They might honor him by starting nuclear war, which would end the world as we know it. The safest country in the world is Iceland. The crime rate is so low there, the police don't even carry guns, and they're pretty much friends with everyone. The SWAT team does possess firearms, but they literally never have to use them. That's because the murder rate is between 0 and 1.5 a year. But there's almost no reason to even commit any crimes. An entire college degree costs less than a month's rent. Almost no one is out of work, and if you do get fired, then the government's got your back. Plus, they're the most gender equal country in the entire world. Their pride is the only one that's never been protested. And there's literally no dangerous animals except the Arctic fox, which is so cute and doesn't even bother anyone. They don't even have mosquitoes. So safe, people will leave their babies in public for hours at a time. Just know that no one's gonna take them. These are the animals most likely to kill you in your state. If you live in Wisconsin, you better fear the deer because they're most likely to send you to heaven. But if you're in California, rattlesnakes are not your friend. Texas is flood rafting fire ants. You do not want to mess with these things. In Florida, it's mosquitoes, so you better pray you have bug spray. In Hawaii, it's tiger sharks, so whenever you go there, do not go in the ocean. In Rhode Island, the most deadly animal is the black widow. Alabama and Arizona, you better watch out for dogs because they're hunting you. But if you're in Oklahoma, run because tigers are most likely to kill you. 1 in a billion coincidences. A woman named Claire bought a $25 card table at a yard sale because she thought it looked nice. But 30 years later, she found out something remarkable. Turns out it was one of only 6 tables made by world-famous furniture maker John Seymour. She ended up selling it for $700,000. World War I ended at 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. A woman named Alveda Adams once tried to commit suicide off the Empire State Building by jumping off of it. She jumped off the 86th floor but was immediately blown back to the 85th floor from a random gust of wind. This turtle shell naturally has the word God written on it. April 15th has been a notorious tragic day in world history. Lincoln's assassination, the sinking of the Titanic, the Boston bombing, and the Notre Dame Cathedral fire all happened on that exact day.
People who are 1 in a million. Zhang Rufang is over 100 years old, and a few years back, something strange happened. She began to grow a horn out of her head. Now it started small, but over the years it grew to 6 inches long. And now she's growing a second horn on the other side. Doctors have offered to remove the horn free of charge, but she always says no. Nung Young Soo is a boy with perfect night vision. Despite both of his parents having brown eyes, he has blue eyes. And while everybody sees darkness, he sees perfectly at night. And also when a flashlight is shined in his eye, they glow a bluish green color. This man's name is Javier and he's from Guatemala. He has an unknown condition which makes his head very large and his voice very deep. Despite this, he lives a very normal life and even graduated from high school.